Welcome to Creators Edge Studio. I'm Tom Marcoux.
And I'm John Colton.
We have a top 10 YouTube movie reviewers.
Coming in at number 10, Jenny Nicholson. Man, I adore her reviews. She is just so knowledgeable about story. You can tell she reads a lot of books and she's a huge Star Wars fan.
There you go, right there. She's with you right from that point.
She has terrific sarcasm.
There you go, your favorite.
And she is great at finding the part in the movie that doesn't make sense. Whatever is a plot hole, she will spot it. I would have her read my screenplays and my comic books to get feedback from her. I rarely disagree with her, but she did have a glowing review for The Last Jedi. I wonder if she's changed her mind, because I know she hated The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
so I wonder if that had any impact on her Last Jedi review. Jenny Nicholson, if you're out there, if you hear this, this is what people want to know. Have you changed your mind about The Last Jedi?
Number 9, John Campea. He is really sharp. I must say, I really do enjoy when he steps out of the movie theater and gives his quick take, because I want to see how he feels about stuff.
Me too, I like those.
Yeah. And the thing is, he also has on his show a number of guests or guest hosts, including Robert Burnett. And he's fun because he's a filmmaker. He's a producer. He's actually worked on the behind the scenes for a couple of Star Trek projects. So having those two guys talk together and getting their take, and they don't always agree, which is also interesting. I've enjoyed that too when I've been directing a feature film and I have a couple of editors who don't agree with each other. I like seeing when people don't agree, because then you get other opportunities. I have a really great appreciation for what John Campea brings, and I'm glad he's on this list. So number 8, Black Nerd Comedy, Andre Meadows. He's just like your best friend, the kind of guy who makes you laugh, and he's also interesting. He makes himself laugh. He really puts in his personality. In fact, at this point, I want to talk about 3 things, these folks who are doing great things and having a great impact on a large audience. They want us to see their material. And so SEE, set a style, express personality, engage for participation. Andre comes across with personality, and he's also good at performance, because there are times where he does kind of a comedy shtick kind of thing, where he'll say something that's kind of a okay joke, but then he'll drop his face and look down like, oh, I can't believe I said that. Oh, no. We expect this type of comedy. We expect this kind of performance, and it's fun because we're in on the joke. It's an inside thing.
It's a kind of off-kilter sense of humor.
Yeah, and we feel a connection with him.
Coming in at number 7 is Jeremy Jahns. Jeremy Jahns is great because he always has some good jokes. He's got a lot of energy. And he really sticks to his formula, which is, 6 to 10 minute long reviews. He makes some really good points, and he gets out of there.
That's that thing we were talking about, set a style. He has a wonderfully consistent style, a style that entertains me. He's really a performer. He goes over the top sometimes. He used to do this where he'd have a sponsor and he'd sing like an opera singer, sponsorship. And he got me used to jump cuts because he's so spontaneous. He doesn't write the stuff out. He just performs, improvises. So he just takes all the boring parts out. In fact, Alfred Hitchcock said that cinema is life with all the boring parts cut out. Jeremy Jahns, I really appreciate his stuff. I'm always looking to see his next video.
At number 6, Grace Randolph, Beyond the Trailer. Grace is fascinating because she does these really thorough trailer reactions, and she will break down a trailer. She really gets in depth, and she also seems to have a lot of industry insider knowledge. I don't always agree with her reviews, maybe about 70% of the time. She's probably a little more forgiving than I am when it comes to movies, which is not a bad thing.
Did you see her comment about Wonder Woman 1984?
No, I missed out.
Okay, what I found, and you said she's more forgiving, is that she was honest. She had tears, and I appreciate her honesty. And I agree. I had some tears while I was watching Wonder Woman 1984. I had some difficulties with the film too, but I saw what they were trying for, and they did succeed with a couple of moments, especially when you don't want this couple, Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, to split.
Number 5, ComicBookGirl19. Her name is Danica. She has a great sense of humor, terrific sarcasm, and just tremendous wit.
Ah.
and she is the Dune High Priestess.
Okay.
Anything and everything Dune, I go to her. She's a big reader. She's definitely read all the books. And same thing with Game of Thrones. When Game of Thrones was on and starting to deteriorate a little bit, her show was just must see. Absolutely had to watch it every week to get her reaction.
When I saw her respond to the Dune trailer, which I really appreciated, you did too, we did a show on it, it was like she had this big smile through the whole thing. And I was watching her, I was thinking she got stuck because she just smiled and smiled and smiled. And I was waiting for the reaction like, oh, or ah, after the trailer was done. She was so fired up and full of life. We talk about set a style, express personality. She was expressing herself, expressing her personality. And she even said, if this thing is delayed, I will have a meltdown. So
Yeah.
she is so enthusiastic and full of life. Number 4 is Filmento. This guy really knows about screenwriting, particularly when he was talking about how some people didn't relate to Blade Runner 2049. I got it. I'm with him on this idea that film wanted it to be its own thing, but it didn't have a sense of progression. It didn't have a sense of if somebody needs to get some information, they're going to struggle. But the host of Filmento pointed out that those type of struggles, that type of conflict right in the middle of the scene wasn't there. Apparently, Denis Villeneuve was not interested in fitting into that structure that we're used to with mainstream filmmaking.
That little tension that's added in every scene adds that element of rewatchability.
I have a deep appreciation for the host of Filmento.
He did another video that I really loved called The Tomorrow War,
Mm-hmm.
How to Build a Cinematic Masterpiece.
Where sarcasm. It's just for you.
well, no, I mean, he gave it a great review and broke down everything that's working in the Tomorrow War and why that works as a picture. My son really liked that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And just last week he asked, he's like, hey, can we watch the Tomorrow War again sometime? I was like, yeah, sure, I'd be up for that. Terrific. It worked because all those pieces have that little bit of tension and subverting expectations the right way. So I think Filmento is really in depth. He really examines the movies from a writer's point of view.
At number 3, Ryan George, who does the Pitch Meeting series for Screen Rant. And this I really appreciate as a performer, as an actor myself, as a film director. I really appreciate what Ryan George accomplishes with his editing, with his performance. I also appreciate his writing. His writing is so structured. And once again, this is the idea of set a style, express personality, engage for participation. That is participation of your viewers. Because he does these certain things, I find myself saying the words with him. Always in every episode, there's a moment where he shows that there should be a challenge, there should be a struggle. The other character says, oh, well, that sounds like they're going to have a lot of trouble there. No, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Right. And then the parts of the movie that make no sense, he'll say to the producer, I'm going to need you to get all the way off of my back on that.
Exactly. Every episode, and I'm just looking forward to it. And his performance is great. He does come across as 2 separate characters.
Number 2, we have the critical drinker. He does a Scottish drinker kind of character. He just shows a still photo of himself as he's off screen, but he does fantastic movie reviews with a bit of sarcasm, but he's really great. Just a tad. He's really great at dissecting the story.
I thought what he did with Captain Marvel was really intense but effective. He was making the point that Captain Marvel is not the only film that has a strong female lead character. What about Ripley in Alien and Aliens? He shows images of her being completely strong and effective. And he also shows Sarah Connor from the Terminator series. He really makes his point with the visuals.
Right. And that's kind of where the sarcasm comes into play. His reviews are definitely spot on. And it's definitely something I would check out if I were a writer.
I can see why you appreciate what he does.
I'm probably 90% with him.
Got it.
His reviews. Number 1, Red Letter Media. They are probably the reviewers that I'm almost 100% in agreement with. They have a lot of fun. They're amateur filmmakers. They had a couple of movies that were available on YouTube. They do basically 3 types of reviews. They have a segment called Half in the Bag that is just movie reviews. Then they sometimes do like DVD commentary on a movie. And then they have their Mr. Plinkett segments, which are definitely dark. Like,
yes.
This channel is not for kids, but
right.
They just have such a great dark sense of humor. The review that they did for The Phantom Menace
put them on the map, really.
Yeah, that was like playing at film festivals, in theaters. And honestly, if the only way to watch Mr. Plinkett and his hour-and-a-half long movie reviews was to pay $10 and go to the theater, I would gladly do that.
Wow.
Because
that's a big endorsement. So now let's pull it all together. We have shared our top 10 lists here, top YouTube influencers. They want us to see their material. They set a style so we get used to it. We are anticipating what's going to be in the episode, and they express personality and they engage for participation. We participate with them. They ask us to participate. Effective YouTube influencers give us something that we can count on. We know we will be entertained. If it's something like Femento that's going to teach us things, we know we'll learn things. Anything you'd like to add, John?
If you think we forgot somebody, or you think our order should have been different, go ahead and comment below. Tell us who we left out, or who you think should be number 1 and number 2 if you feel like we got it wrong.
Right. We definitely appreciate you for being with us with the shows, and we would really like to see what are your thoughts and feelings. Catch you next time. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Tom.